I'm Jess, and depending who you talk to, I'm the social media manager or the digital marketing specialist. And this is the show to show you how to make your own podcast. This is the show to show you how to make your very own podcast. Oh no, oh geez, man. If I want to release this show on a weekly schedule, I should have 10 shows in the can before we even get started. So I need to write outlines for all those episodes. When am I going to do that? I need to write and record those trailers too, but where are they even going to run and how am I going to find that? I'm on the West Coast and a lot of my guests are on the East Coast. What if I can find time to record them? Are they going to get mad at me for reaching out too much? My producer, Amy, is going to be so mad because I'm late on these show notes. I need help, but I can't ask for help because everyone else's plates are overflowing with their own work. Is this even worth my time? Claire, what's up?
Jess, my spidey senses tell me that you might be spinning out right now.
That's really receptive. Yeah.
So I thought I might check in with you. How's it going? Are you okay? What's going on?
I don't know. Claire, I feel like this is all too much to handle, and I don't even know if it's worth it.
Worth it? What do you mean?
Like,
is it worth it?
Am I even a good enough podcast host to make all this work worth it? Not just for me, but for everybody else? I don't even know how to stay on track.
Okay, so we're gonna stick a pin in this whole worth it thing. But so let's get down to brass tacks. I don't know why I'm talking in like metaphors about pointy, sharp things, but that's just what it is. So, all right, how often do you want to release episodes?
Weekly, on Mondays.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty easy. And then how long do you want the season to be?
15 episodes.
Look how much information you have. Okay. All right. So I'm about to blow your mind. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. So all you have to do to kind of ground yourself and like stop yourself from kind of spinning out and panicking about all of this is you know how long you want the season to be. You know when and how often you want to start launching. So all you have to do is figure out when you want your show to end and just work backwards to find out when each episode needs to be done and ready, kind of start to lay out the map of your schedule.
Oh, that is easy. How did you do that?
I'm a ninja.
Okay. Claire, how did you actually do that?
Well, so you might not know this, but I actually spin out all the time about the projects that I'm working on.
You would never know it.
Oh, fake it till you make it. I knew that acting degree was going to come in handy. So the way I calm myself down and kind of give myself roots is to lay out those basic pieces. So when does it start? When does it end? How frequently does it launch? That is my first bit. And then I break each piece down into smaller pieces because what's making you spin out is thinking about it as a whole. You're thinking about the whole project and it's overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
So break it into smaller pieces. And that starts with what do you know, which is what you just told me. And then break it down even further. So what goes into making one episode? What are the pieces of that?
Okay. Is there a good way to keep all that organized? Because it all just lives in my head sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got you. Oh, so I worship at the altar of spreadsheets.
Okay.
Yeah, spreadsheets are everything.
I just took that at face value. I was like, yeah, okay.
So spreadsheets and calendars are a great, great way to organize yourself. It all depends on how you how you like to see information. So sometimes a spreadsheet, like a grid with the date, the deliverable, and any notes about that deliverable, that's a nice way. That's like a list in a spreadsheet. A more visual representation would be putting it into a calendar. So you have like a Google Calendar that you can look at every day and say, okay, today I have to schedule my next recording session for episode 4 or whatever it is. Laying out the deadlines for each step of the way breaks it down into smaller bite-sized pieces, keeps you on track. And then if something goes awry, then you can shift a date for a particular task you need to do, and then just kind of do a ripple effect through the whole schedule and see how that impacts the rest of the project.
Right, like, I guess the world isn't gonna end if you have to move a launch date. I mean, this show, the show moved the launch date, like, 2 times, and nobody died.
Well, totally. It's yeah, and that's the other thing is keeping it in perspective, right? Like
Mhm.
nobody is open on the table right now. Like we're not in emergency surgery. We're making a podcast, right? And and everybody involved from you to, Amy, everybody who's working on it, everybody wants the same thing. They want it to be great and fun
Mhm,
and successful. And so, if something has to shift in the timeline to make it successful and give everyone the time they need to do their best work,
mhm,
then that's okay. That's a worthy reason,
mm.
and everybody's going to be okay.
I'm so glad that I have people on the team, like, that I'm not doing this alone.
Oh, yeah. No, you're totally not alone. And it's easy to feel like that, especially when it's your idea and it's kind of like your
Mm.
baby. It's easy to feel like you're kind of operating in a silo by yourself. But the truth is that a creative pursuit is collaborative. It's all about the team.
Mhm,
And it's from brainstorming ideas and actually coming up with the creative to actually being in the trenches of getting it done. You really need that team and collaborators because if you run up against a problem, the worst thing to do is to just sit there by yourself and stress about it
mhm,
because that's not helping anything, right?
mhm.
But if you call somebody and you say, "Hey, I'm hitting this challenge. I don't know what to do. I think it's going to shift the timeline. I'm kind of freaking out."
Yeah.
Then that person that you're working with on it can be like, "Oh, because from their perspective, maybe it's not a big deal." And they can say, "Oh, I have a solution." And then poof, all of your stress is gone.
Yeah, I hear that, and at the same time, everybody has so much on their plate, and I would never want you or anybody else on my team to get mad at me. Like, if one of the listeners is having a similar problem, how do you, like, get over that feeling? You know what I mean?
hmm Well, first of all, if people have agreed to work with you on a project,
Mhm.
then you've already got their buy-in and
Mm.
you've already set the expectation that you're going to call them, you're going to email with them, you're going to be using some of their time and they're going to be using, some of their time to help you and make this happen.
Yeah.
If people agree to work with you on a project, it's because they want to. They want to because creatively they're interested or they care about you and want to help you do something fun and successful for yourself. Everyone has their motivations and they're in. You've already got their buy in. So fill that space, don't worry about that. Don't be afraid to be that leader. You're leading this podcast. This is your idea, your concept and you got everyone's buy-in because they think it's a great idea and they think you're really good at your job, which you are.
That's so nice that you say that, but sometimes it's so easy to think, like, is it even worth it? Like, is my show good enough that I should be taking up other people's time? Like, it is really easy to feel that way.
Totally. That's like classic imposter syndrome. You've heard of
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
Where
I've heard of
like you
that.
feel like you're like, who am I to do this? I'm not anybody special, blah, blah, blah.
Why would anybody listen to what I have to say?
Yeah. But the truth is, and this is true for you and for the listeners too, if anybody's inspired to come up with an idea, first of all, you deserve to fill your space. You deserve to create and have your voice heard through whatever you want to make and say. And what I like to do, to be totally honest, because I have that imposter syndrome literally every day of my life,
Mm.
I really just kind of acknowledge that it's there. I'm like, oh, hey there, imposter syndrome. I
Yeah,
see
like,
you
talk to
there.
it, yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take a seat. I'm going to get back to work now.
Yeah, that's something it's like acknowledging the part of yourself that's, like, trying to protect you
hmm
from, like, getting hurt or, like, overwhelming yourself or, like, like, it is,
Yeah,
like, it comes from a place of, like it doesn't come from a mean place necessarily.
right.
So it's, like, loving that part of yourself and being like, "I need some space right now to make this awesome idea happen."
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
it's really vulnerable to have an idea and to put it out into the world. It just is. It's scary. It's uncomfortable sometimes. So I would almost take it as like if you have a little bit of that fear, it means that you care, which is a
Mhm.
wonderful thing. And it means that you are expanding yourself outside of your comfort zone, which is amazing
Mm.
and will make you better and bigger and stronger and
In every way, yeah.
in every way. So you're doing the right thing. If you have a little bit of nervousness, you're on the right track.
That's so beautiful. I really like that.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry. No, I feel really great now.
Good.
And when I feel really great, the first and only thing I want to do is homework.
Oh, who doesn't love homework? And
All
there's
right.
nothing like a spreadsheet for homework.
That's what I was gonna give them. Okay, listener. Open up an Excel or a Word or a calendar, whichever one makes you feel the most cozy comfortable, and make a release schedule for season 1. I know it is scary, but it'll keep you on your goals. Your idea is a great idea, and it is worth making. You can, and you should, take up literal and auditory space. Thank you for listening. Claire, do you have any other wonderful, wonderful advice?
You know what? I just listened to the episode with Dave,
Mhm.
the Chief Creative Officer at Gen Z Media, or GZM Shows. And, I thought what he said about the blank page and why an outline is so good applies to this too. Like, it feels scary to be facing a blank page or to be facing having to complete a whole project. But if you plan and just make a timeline for yourself, whether it's a spreadsheet or a calendar or whatever, that takes away some of the fear.
I like that. It's like it's like materializing your nervous energy, and then suddenly you made something.
Yeah. And like what you said about get cozy, like whatever makes you feel cozy, that's so true. Like when I'm really
Yeah.
nervous, I open up a spreadsheet and it makes me feel cozy. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get cozy with
Wow,
this
we are
spreadsheet.
opposites. I feel cozy on like a PowerPoint, believe it or not.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
I feel
interesting.
cozy on GarageBand.
Okay. Okay. Well, whatever your blanket is, just wrap yourself up in that and plan your podcast.
Yeah. I love it. Thanks, Claire. I don't
No
know how to wrap it
problem.
because it was just so emotional. Thank you. And that's when the music comes in. Podcast Title Pending is a production of Gen Z Media. If you're an educator using podcasts in your classroom, visit us at gzmclassroom.com for materials, lesson plans, or to request a visit from a GZM creator. For more great family audio, go to gzmshows.com and follow us on social media at Gen Z Shows. Be sure to follow Podcast Title Pending wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss any new episodes.
It's starting.
GZM shows Imagination Amplified.